3 days ago, my wife threw my entire life onto train tracks, literally. My name is Elliot, and if you think betrayal only happens in movies, you're about to see how wrong you are. The Saratoga Springs station platform smelled like burnt rubber and regret. My wife Vanessa stood 5 feet away, her phone screen glowing between us like a knife. "Can't wait to see you tonight, baby. Trevor misses you." Trevor? Her personal trainer? The one she'd been seeing 3 times a week for 4 months while I worked overtime to afford our anniversary trip? "Who's Trevor?" My voice cracked. She didn't flinch, didn't apologize. She smiled. That smile haunts me more than anything else. Cold, calculated, almost rehearsed. "You really want the truth, Elliot?" She stepped closer, lowering her voice so the other passengers couldn't hear. "Trevor is everything you're not. Ambitious, confident, rich enough to matter." The train whistle screamed behind her. "And he's been helping me drain our joint account for 2 months. By the time you figure out how to crawl home, I'll be moved into his penthouse in Manhattan." My brain stopped processing. 2 months? Our joint account? Before I could speak, she snatched my wallet from my jacket. Then my phone. "Subscribe now. Most people miss the warning signs until it's too late." She held my driver's license over the platform edge, my credit cards, my entire identity dangling above the steel tracks below. "Good luck getting home, loser." She dropped them. They fluttered down like dying birds, landing between the rails just as the New York City-bound train roared past. Wind from the train scattered them further. One card stuck under the wheels, another disappeared into the darkness beneath the platform. Vanessa boarded, the doors sealed shut. Through the window, she pulled out her phone, already texting someone, smiling again. The train pulled away. I stood there alone, 50 miles from home, no money, no ID, no phone. Most passengers avoided eye contact. One woman glanced at me, then quickly looked away, embarrassed for me, pitying the man whose wife just destroyed him in public. 20 minutes passed, maybe 30. Time felt broken. The station was nearly empty now, just a janitor mopping near the bathroom, a teenager asleep against a vending machine, and one old man sitting on a wooden bench near the exit. He wore dark sunglasses despite the cloudy sky. A white cane rested across his lap. His face pointed straight ahead, motionless. I started walking toward the exit. 50-mile walk. 6 hours if I kept pace. Maybe I'd collapse halfway and some trucker would take pity on me. I passed the old man. "You planning to walk all the way to Syracuse, son?" I froze, turned slowly. He hadn't moved, hadn't even turned his head toward me. Just sat there, smiling slightly, like he'd been waiting for me to pass. "How did you—" He interrupted. "I'm blind, not deaf. Heard every word of that little performance. Your wife sounds delightful." The sarcasm was sharp enough to cut. My throat tightened. A stranger witnessed my complete humiliation. "Listen very carefully," he continued, his voice dropping. "My driver arrives in exactly 4 minutes. When he pulls up, you're going to pretend to be my son. You'll help me to the car, ride back to the city with me, and I'll make sure you get home." I stared at him. "Why would you help me?" He tilted his head slightly. "Because 30 years ago, a woman did something very similar to me. Left me stranded, broken, humiliated." A pause. "And a stranger changed my entire life by helping me stand back up." "Who are you?" He said slowly. "My name is William Hartford." My blood turned to ice. William Hartford. Real estate empire across 5 states. Forbes estimated his net worth at over $3 billion. I'd seen his face in business journals, read about his commercial developments, heard his name dropped at office happy hours by people who wished they knew people like him. And he was asking me to lie about being his son? Comment below, would you get in that car? Yes or no? Mr. Hartford, I can't possibly. You can. His voice hardened, because in 3 minutes, a black Mercedes pulls up to this curb. My driver Thomas has never met my son. He won't question you, he'll just drive us home. Why lie? Why not just say you're helping me? For the first time, William Hartford's expression darkened. Because my real son died 6 months ago. Overdose. And the woman who destroyed him, who got him hooked on pills and bled him dry, he paused, was also named Vanessa. The platform seemed to tilt sideways. Different woman, same poison. Women like your wife, they're predators. They find good men, drain them, and move on to the next victim. Your wife thinks she won by leaving you here with nothing. He leaned forward. But what she doesn't know is she just made the biggest mistake of her miserable life, because the man she abandoned is about to become very powerful. And when she realizes what she lost, when she sees what you've become... A sleek black Mercedes pulled up to the curb. Perfect timing. She will destroy her in ways she can't imagine. The driver stepped out. Mr. Hartford, sir, ready to head home? William stood slowly, one hand finding my shoulder. Thomas, I'd like you to meet my son. He'll be staying with me for a while. Every instinct screamed at me to run. This was insane. Identity fraud, legal nightmare waiting to happen. But then I saw it again. Vanessa's smile as she dropped my life onto those tracks. The image of her texting Trevor while I stood there bleeding. I thought about the drained bank account, the lies, the 4 months of her touching another man while I paid for everything. Something inside me snapped. Not broke, transformed. I helped William Hartford into the Mercedes. The leather seat embraced me as I slid beside him. The door closed with a heavy, expensive sound. Here's what happens next, William said as we pulled away from the station. You work for me. I teach you my business. 6 months from now, your name appears in the New York Times business section. You'll walk into Manhattan galas worth more than Vanessa can count. He paused. And when she sees what she threw away, you'll decide if she deserves mercy or complete destruction. I should have asked more questions. I should have demanded details, contracts, explanations. Instead, I said, "When do we start?" William smiled, the first genuine smile I'd seen from him. We already have. But here's what I didn't know, what William didn't tell me in that car. His son wasn't actually dead. And Vanessa wasn't just any woman. She was the exact same Vanessa who destroyed his son 6 months earlier. Subscribe before the next twist catches you off guard. William Hartford hadn't saved me out of kindness. He'd been hunting Vanessa for months. And I was the bait. Drop a comment. Should Elliot trust William or run? What would you do? The Mercedes smelled like leather and secrets. William Hartford sat beside me, silent for the first 20 miles. His fingers drummed against the armrest, some private rhythm only he could hear. I watched Syracuse disappear in the side mirror, my old life shrinking to nothing. "You're wondering if I'm insane," William said suddenly. I turned. He was still facing forward, those dark glasses reflecting my own uncertain face back at me. "I'm wondering if I am," I admitted. He smiled. Not warm, something sharper. "Good. Doubt keeps you alert. Blind trust gets you killed. Have you ever trusted the wrong person? Comment below." The highway stretched ahead like a promise I wasn't sure I wanted to keep. "Thomas," William called to the driver.
Take us to the Thornfield estate, not the penthouse." Thornfield. I'd read about it once in a regional magazine. Hartford's private compound in the Finger Lakes region. 40 acres, security gates, a mansion that made governors jealous. "Mr. Hartford?" "William," he interrupted. "If you're going to be my son, you'll call me William, or father if Thomas is listening." The word tasted foreign in my mouth. 90 minutes later, we turned off the main road onto a private drive. Trees formed a tunnel overhead, blocking out the dying sunlight. The gate appeared like something from another century, wrought iron, 12 feet tall, cameras mounted on every corner. It opened without us stopping. The mansion emerged from the trees like a sleeping giant waking up. Stone facade, 3 stories, wings extending in both directions, windows that reflected the sunset like judging eyes. I'd never seen anything like it outside of movies. Subscribe now. You won't believe what's behind those doors. Thomas opened my door. I stepped onto gravel that probably cost more per square foot than my monthly rent used to be. "Welcome home, sir," Thomas said, and the way he looked at me, respectful, deferential, made my skin crawl. He believed I was William's son, completely. How many other lies could I sell before reality caught up? William moved through the entrance like he owned the air itself. I followed, trying not to stare at the marble floors, the chandelier that looked like frozen waterfalls, the paintings that might have been actual Rembrandts. "Your room is on the 2nd floor, east wing," William said, not breaking stride. "Thomas will show you. Dinner is at 8. Don't be late." He disappeared down a hallway before I could respond. Thomas led me up a staircase wide enough to drive a car up. My room felt like the wrong word, was bigger than the entire apartment Vanessa and I had shared. King bed, sitting area, balcony overlooking gardens I couldn't see the end of. A bathroom with heated floors and a shower that had more settings than my car. On the bed, 3 tailored suits still in garment bags. A note pinned to the first one. "Dress for dinner. We have much to discuss. W." I stood there holding expensive fabric I'd never afford in 10 lifetimes, wondering what kind of deal I'd actually made. My reflection stared back from a full-length mirror. Same face, different world. Then I noticed it. On the dresser, a framed photograph, slightly faded. William Hartford, maybe 20 years younger, arm around a teenage boy. The boy had William's sharp jaw, his intense eyes, but something softer in his smile. The son who supposedly died. I picked up the frame, studying the boy's face. That's when I saw the date inscribed at the bottom. Thornfield Estate, summer 2024. 6 months ago. What do you think happened to him? Drop your theory below. A knock at the door made me nearly drop the frame. "Come in," I called, setting it back carefully. The door opened. Not Thomas. A woman, mid-30s, sharp business suit, eyes like surgical knives. "You must be the new son," she said, voice dripping with contempt. She didn't wait for an invitation, just walked in and closed the door behind her. "I'm Victoria Hartford, William's daughter, the one he actually remembers exists." I opened my mouth. She raised one finger. "Save it. I know you're not my brother. I know exactly what you are. Some desperate nobody my father picked up at a train station because his dementia is getting worse and he can't accept that his golden boy is gone. I'm not trying to—" "You're of course you are. Everyone who enters this house wants something. Money, power, connections. So let's skip the part where you pretend to care about helping a grieving old man and get to the truth." She stepped closer.
My father is dying. Early onset dementia masked by decades of control-freak perfectionism. In 6 months, maybe less, he won't remember his own name. And when that happens, his estate, all $3 billion of it, gets divided according to the will he wrote 3 years ago. She pulled out her phone, showed me a photo. Legal document. William's signature. 50% to his son, 30% to me, 20% to charitable foundations. If the son is deceased, his share goes to me. The math clicked into place. But if William thinks his son is alive, I started. Then you get 50% of everything, she finished, and I'm left with scraps while some con artist walks away with my family's empire. Subscribe. This gets darker than you think. My throat went dry. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. My father is exceptional at manipulating people. He probably told you some sob story about revenge, about helping you rebuild your life, about making your ex-wife suffer. She leaned against the dresser, arms crossed. Here's what he didn't tell you. His son isn't dead. The overdose was faked. He's been living in Miami under a new identity for 6 months, hiding from our father's suffocating control. The floor felt unsteady beneath me. And Vanessa, your wife? Victoria's smile was pure ice. She was engaged to my brother before he disappeared. She's the one who helped him fake his death and escape. They drained $2 million from his trust fund together and vanished. No, that couldn't be. Your wife didn't meet Trevor, the personal trainer, Victoria continued. She met my brother, fell in love with someone who actually had money, and convinced him to run away together. When the plan fell apart and he disappeared, she moved on to her backup option. Me, I whispered. You. Victoria nodded. The reliable, predictable, easy-to-control husband. Someone she could milk while she figured out where my brother went with her $2 million. My hands were shaking. So, when my father tells you he's helping you get revenge on Vanessa, Victoria's voice softened, almost sympathetic, what he's really doing is using you as bait to draw my brother out of hiding, because if the real son shows up to reclaim his identity, this whole charade ends. The will stays valid. My father dies with his legacy intact. She moved toward the door, then paused. You have 2 choices, Elliot. Help me get power of attorney before my father gives you everything in a dementia-fueled delusion. I'll pay you $2 million cash, disappear your identity fraud charges, and you walk away clean. Or stay loyal to a dying man who's lying to you, wait for my brother to come home and destroy you both, and end up in prison while Vanessa laughs all the way to Trevor's actual penthouse. She opened the door. Dinner's at 8. Choose wisely. The door closed. I stood alone in a room worth more than my entire life, holding a suit I hadn't earned, playing a role I didn't understand. The photograph of William and his son stared at me from the dresser. Behind me, through the balcony windows, the sun finished dying. And somewhere in this massive house, William Hartford sat alone, planning moves I couldn't see. Comment. Team William or Team Victoria? Who's really telling the truth? That's when my phone... Wait, I didn't have a phone, but there was buzzing. On the nightstand, a brand new iPhone, screen glowing, unknown number. I picked it up, answered. Hello? Elliot? A man's voice, young, terrified. Is my father listening? My blood froze. Who is this? It's Camden, William's son, the one who's supposed to be dead. Silence stretched between us like a blade. Camden continued, words tumbling fast. Victoria told you I'm alive, didn't she? She's lying about Miami. I'm not hiding. I'm trapped. In this house, third floor, locked room, northwest corner. He's been keeping me here for 6 months, telling everyone I died, and if you don't help me escape tonight, we're both going to... The line went dead. I stared at the phone. 3 different stories. 3 different versions of truth. William, vengeful father, helping me destroy my ex-wife. Victoria, opportunistic daughter protecting her inheritance. Camden, imprisoned son begging for rescue. Who do you believe? Tell me in the comments. This decision changes everything. If you're not subscribed yet, drop a comment. What's holding you back? The phone went silent in my hand. Dead air. Not even static. I stared at the screen. Call duration, 47 seconds. Unknown number. No way to call back. Camden's voice still echoed in my skull. Third floor, northwest corner. If you don't help me escape tonight. Tonight. I checked the time. 7:43 p.m. 17 minutes until dinner with William. 17 minutes to decide if I was rescuing a prisoner or walking into a trap. The suit on the bed mocked me. Perfectly tailored armor for a war I didn't understand. I put it on anyway. The fabric felt like wearing someone else's skin. What would you do with 17 minutes? Comment your move. The hallway outside my room stretched in both directions. East wing, William said, which meant west wing was opposite. And somewhere above me, third floor, northwest corner, either a terrified son or an elaborate lie waited. Footsteps approached from downstairs. Heavy, deliberate. Thomas appeared at the top of the stairs. Mr. Hartford requests your presence in the dining room, sir. I'll be right down, I said, forcing my voice steady. He nodded and descended. I counted to 20. Then I moved. The opposite direction, away from dinner, toward the west wing. Subscribe before you miss what he finds. The mansion felt different now, less like luxury, more like a maze designed to hide things. Portraits lined the walls, dead Hartford ancestors watching me hunt for living ones. I found the staircase to the third floor hidden behind a door I'd assumed was a closet. Narrow steps, no portraits here, just bare walls and the smell of dust. The steps didn't creak, expensive construction even in the hidden parts. Third floor hallway, shorter than the others, 4 doors, all closed. I moved toward the northwest corner. The door was different from the others, reinforced, heavy lock visible even from outside. No sound from inside. I knocked softly. Camden? Nothing. I tried the handle, locked as expected. Camden, if you're in there. Iliad. William's voice from behind me. I spun around. He stood at the top of the stairs, those dark glasses somehow seeing everything. I wondered how long curiosity would take, he said calmly. 53 minutes, faster than I expected. My throat closed. Victoria told me that my son is alive, that I'm dying, that you're a pawn. William moved closer, each step precise. He reached past me, produced a key, unlocked the door. See for yourself. The door swung open. Empty. Room. Completely empty. Dust on the hardwood floors, cobwebs in the corners, windows painted shut years ago. No prison. No Camden. No evidence anyone had been here in months. My son died 6 months ago. The overdose was real. The grief is real. And someone in this house is trying to convince you otherwise. Who's lying? Drop your answer, now." He relocked the door. "Victoria wants my estate. She's convinced herself I'm incompetent, that dementia has stolen my mind, so she plants seeds, fake phone calls, forged documents, elaborate stories about imprisoned sons. But here's what Victoria doesn't know. I'm not dying. The dementia diagnosis? Fabricated. I paid a doctor to put it in my medical records 6 months ago. I stopped walking. Why? To see who in my family would try to take advantage, who would show their true nature when they thought I was vulnerable." His smile was sharp. Victoria failed the test spectacularly. We reached the dining room. Crystal, silver, a table that could seat 20, but was set for 3. Victoria already sat at one end, wineglass in hand, wearing a different outfit, red dress, calculated elegance. "Iliad," she said warmly, like our earlier conversation never happened. "I was beginning to worry you'd gotten lost." William took his seat at the head of the table. I sat between them, caught in crossfire I could feel but not see. Thomas served the first course. Nobody spoke. Then Victoria's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen. Her face went white. "Excuse me," she said, voice tight. She stood, walked quickly from the room. William cut his steak with surgical precision. "She just received a video message. Would you like to know what it shows?" "What?" "Your wife, Vanessa, in a hotel room with my son, Camden, alive, very much alive, and very much in love." The fork slipped from my hand. "Subscribe? This reveal changes everything you thought you knew." "Impossible," I whispered. "You said he was dead. You said—" I lied. William set down his knife. "Camden is alive. He's been in Miami for 6 months, and Vanessa found him 3 weeks ago. They've been together ever since." He pulled out his own phone, pressed play on a video. Grainy hotel footage, time-stamped yesterday, 2:47 p.m. Vanessa walking into a room, a man following her, younger than me, fit, handsome. He kissed her against the door, and she kissed her back like she'd been starving for it. Camden, Hartford. My wife with William's son. The private investigator sent this yesterday. I've been waiting for the right moment to show you, waiting to see if you'd trust me or fall for Victoria's performance. The video kept playing, Vanessa laughing, Camden pulling her onto the bed. The screen went black before it showed more. I couldn't breathe. Victoria knew, William continued. She's been in contact with Camden for months. They're planning something together, probably to drain the estate and disappear. The phone call you received, that was Camden, calling from Miami, pretending to be trapped here. All theater. Why? My voice cracked. Why would they? Because if you believe I'm incompetent and they're victims, you'll help them contest the will. You'll testify that I'm not fit to control my assets. And when the court grants them control, they'll split everything and leave you with nothing. He leaned forward. Or, you work with me. We let them think their plan is working. We draw them out. And when they make their move, we destroy them both. Team William? Or Team Victoria? Who's really telling the truth? Comment now. Victoria returned, eyes red. I need to speak with my father, alone. Anything you say to me, you can say in front of my son. She looked at me, real fear in her eyes now. Iliad, please, you don't understand what I'm doing?
Interrupting, I'm protecting my legacy from thieves. Both of you, leave us. I need to speak with Victoria privately.
I stood on shaking legs. Thomas appeared to escort me out. In the hallway, I heard raised voices, Victoria shouting, William's calm responses. Something crashed, glass shattering. Then silence. Thomas stood beside me, expressionless. Perhaps you'd like to return to your room, sir. I nodded, numb. Back in my room, I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at nothing. The phone Victoria had supposedly planted sat on the nightstand. It buzzed. New message. Unknown number. A photo. William Hartford, 20 years younger, standing beside a woman I didn't recognize. They were smiling. In love. The woman's face made my blood freeze. It was Vanessa. Not just similar, not kind of looked like her. My wife, 20 years younger, but definitely her. Another message. Ask William about his first wife. Ask him who Vanessa really is. Ask him why she hasn't aged. V. What do you think is really going on? Drop your wildest theory below. I stared at the photo until my eyes burned. None of this made sense. Vanessa couldn't be in a photo from 20 years ago. She was 32. That would make her 12 in this photo. Unless... Footsteps outside my door. Not Thomas's heavy stride. Someone lighter, faster. The handle turned. Victoria slipped inside, closing the door behind her. Tears streaked her makeup, blood on her lip. He knows I showed you. He knows I broke the rules. What rules? What's happening? She crossed to the window, looking out at the dark gardens. This house isn't real, Elliot. None of this is real. We're all playing roles in William's game, and once you figure out the rules... She turned to face me. He resets the board. What does that mean? It means your wife wasn't the first Vanessa. It means Camden died a dozen times in this house before they finally made it stick. It means every son William recruits thinks they're the first, thinks they're special, thinks they're going to get revenge. Her voice dropped to barely audible. How many train stations do you think exist upstate? How many desperate men has he picked up over the years? How many times has this exact dinner party happened? The room felt smaller, colder. You're insane, I said. Am I? She pulled something from her pocket, another photo. Me, on the train platform. But the date stamp, 3 years ago. That's not possible. I was never... Check the suit you're wearing. Inside pocket, left side. With trembling hands, I reached inside. A business card. Faded. Worn. Elliot Chen, Senior Accountant. Hartford Industries. But I'd never worked for Hartford Industries. I worked for a firm in Syracuse. Completely different company. Except, the logo on the card matched the logo I'd seen on documents in William's study. You've been here before, Victoria whispered. You've played this role before, and when William's done with you, when the game ends, he'll reset you and start over. New train station, new wife, same betrayal, same rescue, same offer.
Subscribe if this twist broke your brain. How do I stop it? You can't. She moved toward the door. You can only choose which ending you want. Work with him and become the monster. Work with me and maybe we both escape. She opened the door. Dinner's over. Tomorrow, William will offer you your first assignment. He'll send you to confront Vanessa. Whatever you do, don't go. That's when the loop resets. That's when you forget everything and start over. She left. I stood alone, holding a business card with my name on it from a job I'd never worked, in a suit I supposedly never worn, playing a role I'd already played. Outside my window in the dark gardens, I saw movement. A figure, standing under a tree, looking up at my window. Too far to see clearly, but something about the posture felt familiar. The figure raised one hand, waved, then disappeared into shadows. My phone buzzed again, the one Victoria supposedly planted. Video message. I pressed play. Grainy footage. This room. This bed, but different person sitting where I sat now. Different face, different man. Same suit. He stared at the camera, eyes hollow. My name is... His voice cracked. I don't remember my name, but if you're watching this, you're the next one. Don't trust William. Don't trust Victoria. Don't trust... Static consumed the image. When it cleared, William's face filled the screen. Hello, Elliot. Welcome home. Again. The video ended. Tell me in the comments, should Elliot run, fight, or play along? This choice determines survival.
I didn't sleep. Couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that video. The hollow-eyed man in my suit, the business card with my name on it, William's face saying, "Welcome home, again." By morning, I'd made a decision. I was going to confront Vanessa, not because William wanted me to, not because Victoria warned me against it, because I needed to look into her eyes and find out which reality was real. Would you confront your ex after discovering all this? Comment yes or no. William found me at breakfast. He moved differently today, less calculated, more urgent. She's in Manhattan, he said without preamble. The Gramercy Park Hotel, room 847. She checked in yesterday with Camden. They think they're safe. He slid a folder across the table. Photos, recent ones. Vanessa and Camden entering the hotel, kissing in the lobby, his hand on her lower back, possessive. The betrayal should have hurt more. Instead, I felt nothing, just cold calculation. What do you want me to do? Talk to her, record the conversation. He handed me a pen, expensive, sleek, wrong weight. Camera in the clip, audio in the body. She'll confess everything if you push the right buttons. And then? Then we have evidence. Fraud, conspiracy, theft. Enough to destroy them both legally before they can touch my estate. His eyes, still hidden behind those dark glasses, seemed to bore into me. Unless you believe Victoria's fairy tale, time loops, reset buttons, houses that aren't real. His voice dripped contempt. She's desperate, Elliot, losing, so she's trying to break your grip on reality. Subscribe before the confrontation. You won't believe what Vanessa says. I took the pen, slipped it into my pocket. When do I leave? Now. Thomas will drive you. Be back by dinner.
The Gramercy Park Hotel rose from Manhattan streets like a monument to money I'd never have. Doormen in uniforms that cost more than my monthly salary used to be. I walked in wearing the Hartford name like armor. The elevator ride to the 8th floor felt like descending into something I couldn't name. Each floor number lit up, a countdown to truth or lies. 8th floor. The hallway stretched forever. Room 847. I knocked. Footsteps inside. The door opened. Vanessa stood there in a silk robe, hair wet from a shower, and for one suspended second, we just stared at each other. Elliot. My name in her mouth sounded like a curse. How did you... Can I come in? She glanced behind her. Voices from inside. Television maybe, or Camden in another room. This isn't a good time. It never is. I kept my voice level. 5 minutes, then I'm gone forever. Something flickered across her face. Curiosity? Fear? Guilt? She stepped aside. The room was a suite, luxury I couldn't afford, even now, even wearing Hartford money. Vanessa closed the door behind me. "Trevor's in the shower," she said quickly. Too quickly. "You mean Camden?" She froze. "What?" "Camden Hartford, William's son. The one you were engaged to 6 months ago. The one you helped fake an overdose. The one you stole $2 million with before abandoning him." Her face went through emotions like shuffling cards. Shock, calculation, decision. Then she laughed. Not nervous. Not guilty, genuinely amused. "Oh, Elliot, you poor thing. He really did a number on you, didn't he?" "Who?" "William." She sat on the edge of the bed, crossing her legs. "How long did it take? 3 days? 4? Before he had you convinced I'm some kind of serial con artist who destroys rich men for sport? Who do you believe right now? Drop it in the comments. I saw the video. You and Camden. Yesterday. This hotel. Did you?" She smiled, sharp. "Or did you see footage that could be anyone, from any time, with a timestamp that says whatever William wanted it to say?" She stood, moved to the window. "Let me tell you what really happened on that train platform, Elliot. I didn't abandon you because of Trevor. I didn't drain our account because I'm greedy. I left because I was terrified." "Of what?" "Of him. Of William Hartford. 3 months ago, he approached me at my gym, said he wanted to hire me for a job, said he'd pay me $50,000 to seduce you, marry you, and then publicly humiliate you at exactly the right moment. My stomach dropped. He gave me a script, Elliot. Every fight we had, every cold shoulder, every moment I seemed distant, he wrote it. He directed it. And like an idiot, I took the money because I thought it was just some elaborate prank for a reality show. You're lying." "Am I?" She pulled out her phone, showed me texts, months of them. Instructions from a number I recognized, William's burner phone I'd seen him use. "Pick a fight about his job tonight. Start mentioning Trevor casually. Plant the seed. Next week at the train station, follow the script exactly." "He paid me to destroy you," Vanessa said quietly, "and I did it because $50,000 meant I could finally leave my piece of shit landlord and start over. I didn't know what he wanted with you, didn't know you'd end up at his estate playing his dead son. Subscribe. This changes everything you thought about this story." "Then who's Camden? Who's the man you were with yesterday?" "His name is Trevor. He's my boyfriend. He's an actual personal trainer. There is no Camden Hartford. William's son died 30 years ago, car accident. He's been staging this exact scenario over and over since then, finding broken men, offering them revenge, turning them into replacements for the son he lost." She pulled out another phone, older, cracked screen. She pressed play. William's voice, clear and cold. The train station. You'll leave him there alone, broken. Then I'll pick him up and bring him home. Another son, another chance. This one might last longer than the others. My vision blurred at the edges. How many others? I whispered. I don't know. Victoria says 12, 20. She's been trying to stop him for years, but he's too powerful, too connected. People disappear into that estate and nobody asks questions because William Hartford owns half the state. She set the phone down. I'm sorry I hurt you, but I saved your life by leaving you at that station. If I'd stayed, if I'd gone to his house with you, we'd both be trapped in whatever sick game he's playing.
The bathroom door opened. A man emerged, mid-30s, fit, exactly like the photos William had shown me, but his face, completely different from the Camden in the video. Vanessa? He looked at me, confused. Who's this? My ex-husband. She kept her eyes on me. He's leaving. Comment. Is Vanessa telling the truth, or is this another layer of lies? I stood there, caught between two stories, both impossible, both believable. Come with me, I said suddenly. Back to the estate. Face William together. If you're telling the truth, Victoria will protect us. If I'm being manipulated, we'll expose it. Vanessa laughed bitterly. Walk back into his house? Are you insane? Then how do I know you're not lying right now? How do I know William didn't pay you to say all this? She stepped so close I could smell her shampoo. The same brand from our apartment. Our life before. You don't, she whispered. That's the point. He's made it so you can't trust anyone. Not me, not Victoria, not your own memories. That's how he keeps you trapped. Trevor moved beside her, protective. Babe, maybe we should... Get out, Elliot, Vanessa said. Go back to William. Play his son. Take his money. But know that eventually, when you stop being useful, you'll end up like all the others, and nobody will remember your name. I turned to leave. Then I saw it. On the dresser, half hidden under a magazine. A photograph. Old. Faded. William Hartford. Young. Standing with a woman. The woman from the photo Victoria showed me. But here's what made my blood freeze. I picked it up. Turned it over. Written on the back, William and Vanessa Hartford. Wedding day, 1985. 40 years ago. Vanessa, my Vanessa, couldn't be more than 32. Where did you get this? My voice barely worked. Vanessa's face went white. That's not... I don't... Your name is on it. Vanessa Hartford, 1985. Trevor grabbed the photo from my hand, looked at it, looked at Vanessa. What the hell is this? Subscribe now. The truth is darker than anything you imagined. Vanessa backed toward the window. You don't understand. None of you understand. Then explain, I demanded. She laughed, high, breaking. I can't, because I don't remember. I don't remember being married to William. I don't remember 1985. My earliest memory is waking up in a hospital 3 years ago with no ID, no family, no past. She touched her temple like it hurt. The doctor said amnesia, trauma. They gave me a name for my hospital bracelet, Vanessa Shaw, and sent me out to build a life from nothing. I met you 6 months later. Fell in love. Got married. Had a normal life. Tears streamed down her face now. Then William approached me with the job offer, and suddenly I knew things. Knew his house layout without being there. Knew his routines. Knew details about his son's death that were never public, like someone else's memories bleeding through. You're his wife, I said slowly. His first wife. The one who died. Except you didn't die. I don't know what I am. She pressed her hands against her head. Every time I try to remember before 3 years ago, I hit a wall. But that photo, I don't know where it came from. I've never seen it before in my life. Trevor set the photo down carefully. Babe, we need to leave. Now. This is insane.
You can't run, I told her. If what you're saying is true, if you're connected to William somehow, he'll find you. He always finds you. Then what do I do? She looked genuinely terrified now. A knock at the door. Sharp, authoritative. We all froze. Housekeeping, a woman's voice called. We didn't request, Trevor started. The door opened anyway. Hotel keycard override. Victoria Hartford walked in, flanked by two men in dark suits. Hello, Vanessa. Or should I call you Mother? I'm not anyone's mother, Vanessa said, but her voice shook. Victoria pulled out a tablet, pulled up a document. Medical records, DNA results. These came back yesterday. I had my investigator collect samples from Elliot's old apartment, your hairbrush, coffee cup, ran them against family database. She turned the tablet toward us. 99.7% match. You're not just Vanessa Hartford, my father's wife from 40 years ago. You're my biological mother, the one who supposedly died in childbirth. Except here you are, looking 32, with no memories, living a completely different life. Subscribe. This reveal breaks reality. Vanessa slid down the wall, sitting on the floor. That's impossible. So is a billionaire collecting broken men and turning them into replacement sons. So is time loops and reset buttons, and houses that trap people in cycles. Victoria crouched in front of her. But here we are. I looked between them. The resemblance was there. Same bone structure, same eyes. What did he do? I asked Victoria. What did William do to her? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. She offered Vanessa her hand. Come with me. Help me stop him. Help me understand what he's become. Vanessa didn't take her hand. If I go back to that house, I'll never leave. You're already trapped. Victoria's voice was gentle. The amnesia, the planted memories, the way you knew things you shouldn't. He's been controlling you for 3 years, maybe longer. The only way to break free is to confront him. Trevor pulled Vanessa up. We're leaving. New York, new state, new lives. You people are all crazy. He pulled her toward the door. Victoria nodded to her security. They blocked the exit. I'm sorry, but I can't let her leave. She's the key to everything. Once we understand how he did this to her, how he brought her back, or created her, or whatever this is, we can stop him from doing it to anyone else. You're kidnapping her. I stepped forward. I'm saving her, and you, and every future victim. Victoria's eyes met mine. Are you with me, or against me? The pen in my pocket felt heavy, still recording. William would hear everything, which meant he already knew Victoria was here, knew about the photo, knew his secret was unraveling. Comment: help Victoria or protect Vanessa. Choose now. My phone buzzed. William's number. I answered on speaker. Elliot. His voice was perfectly calm. Step away from my daughter. Take Vanessa and leave the hotel. Thomas is downstairs. Come home. We'll discuss this as a family. You lied to me. I protected you from a truth you weren't ready for. Vanessa is not well. She's dangerous. Victoria is using her to destroy everything I've built.
She's your wife. She's Victoria's mother. You told everyone she died. She did die. What walks around wearing her face is something else, something I created to fill the void, and it needs to come home before it unravels completely. What did you do to her? My voice shook with rage. What any man would do when he loses everything. I found a way to bring her back. But resurrection is imperfect, Elliot. The body remembers, the soul doesn't. So I've been trying to help her remember, trying to fix what broke. And Victoria, his voice hardened, has been sabotaging my work for years. By telling people the truth, by condemning her own mother to permanent oblivion. If Vanessa never remembers, she stays lost forever. Is that what you want for her? An eternity of false lives and erased memories? Victoria grabbed my phone. "Father, this needs to stop. What you're doing to her, to these men, it's murder!" "It's mercy," William's voice softened. "I gave Elliot purpose. I gave Vanessa another chance at life. I gave you a mother, Victoria, even if you're too blind to accept her." "She doesn't want this!" "She doesn't know what she wants. None of you do, which is why you're all coming home, now." The line went dead. Victoria's security moved toward Vanessa. Trevor threw a punch, connected with the first guard's jaw. The second guard pulled a taser. Trevor dropped, convulsing. Vanessa screamed. I lunged for Victoria's phone. If I could call the police, if I could... Pain exploded in my neck. Pressure. Then nothing. I woke up in the Mercedes. Thomas driving. William in the seat beside me. Vanessa slumped against the window, unconscious. "I'm disappointed. I thought you were different, stronger. Instead, you let my daughter poison your mind with paranoia." "You're killing people." My voice slurred. Whatever they'd injected me with hadn't worn off yet. "I'm giving them what they want. Revenge, purpose, a family. For a few beautiful months, they matter. Then, when it's time, they move on, painlessly, mercifully, and their families receive generous compensation for their loss." He turned those dark glasses toward me. "Would you prefer to go back to your apartment, your mediocre job, your ex-wife who never loved you? I offered you transcendence, and you're choosing ordinary suffering instead. Let Vanessa go. She's already gone, has been for 40 years. This version, she's a gift, a second chance. And when this iteration fails, I'll start again. Better, closer to the original." We pulled through the Thornfield gates. Home. Prison. Same thing now. "Victoria will stop you," I said. William smiled. "Victoria is already here. She came home an hour ago. We had a wonderful conversation about boundaries and respect. She understands now." The mansion loomed ahead. Everything Victoria had warned me about was true. Everything William had promised was lies. And I'd walked right into his trap. If you made it this far, you're invested. Subscribe so you don't miss the finale, where the real truth comes out.
I woke up strapped to a chair in William's study. Leather restraints, medical grade, the kind designed to look comfortable while being impossible to escape. Across from me, Vanessa, similarly bound, still unconscious. To my left, Victoria, awake, calm, too calm, blood crusted on her temple. "Welcome back," Victoria said flatly. "He's been waiting for you to wake up. Says the process works better when you're conscious." "What process?" She nodded toward the corner. Medical equipment, IV stands, monitors displaying vitals I didn't understand, and a machine that looked like an MRI scanner had a baby with something from a nightmare. "The reset," Victoria whispered. "How he keeps starting over, how he makes you forget." Comment now. Do you think anyone survives this? Yes or no? The study door opened. William entered, followed by someone I didn't recognize, a woman in a white coat carrying a tablet. Doctor. Scientist. Something worse? "Dr. Chen," William said warmly. "Thank you for coming on such short notice." My blood froze. Chen. My last name. Coincidence? No, nothing in this house was coincidence. Mr. Hartford, I've prepared the protocol. Same dosage as last time? Double it. He's proven more resistant than the previous iterations. The doctor moved to the equipment, making adjustments. William sat in his leather chair, a king on his throne of horrors. "You're wondering about Dr. Chen," he said, reading my expression. "She's your sister, Elliot, has been performing these procedures for me for 3 years. You've met her 12 times now. You never remember." The woman, my sister, didn't look at me, just kept working. "That's impossible," I said. "You keep saying that, every single time." William sighed. "Elliot, you need to understand. What I'm offering you is mercy. The world is cruel, betrayal is constant, love is temporary. But here, in this house, I give you purpose. I give you revenge. I give you everything you've ever wanted. By erasing my memory, by erasing your pain." He stood, moved closer. "Right now you hurt. You feel betrayed, trapped, terrified. In 20 minutes, all of that disappears. You wake up on a train platform, your wife has just abandoned you, and I offer you salvation again. And for a few beautiful months, you're happy." "How many times?" My voice cracked. 17 cycles. You're actually one of my longest-running subjects. Most only make it through 3 or 4 before they break permanently. He said it like he was proud. "And then what, when I break permanently?" William's expression softened. "Then you rest, peacefully. Your family receives $5 million and a believable story about a tragic accident. They mourn, they move on. Everyone wins. Except me? You're already dead, Elliot. You died on that train platform the moment Vanessa walked away. Everything since then has been borrowed time. I'm just letting you live that borrowed time over and over instead of ending all at once." Victoria spoke up. "Father, please, let them go. You have me. Isn't that enough?" "You?" William laughed. "You've been trying to stop me for years, Victoria. Why would I trust you now?" "Because I understand now. I understand why you brought Mother back, why you keep these men, why you can't let go. You're trapped in your own loop, aren't you? Trying to fix something that can't be fixed, trying to resurrect what's gone. Drop your theory. What really happened 40 years ago?" "Careful," William warned. But Victoria pushed forward. "The car accident, 40 years ago. It wasn't just Mother who died. Your son died, too. Camden, your real son. He was in the car with her. You've been replacing him over and over with these men, and replacing her over and over with that," she gestured at Vanessa, "that shell wearing her face. Careful." But Victoria pushed forward. "Mother's memories aren't coming back because there's nothing to come back to. She's not Mother. She's a clone, an android, something you commissioned from people who promised the impossible. And these men, they're not Camden. They're victims you're using to feel like a father again." William moved faster than I thought possible, grabbed Victoria by the throat, lifted her chair off the ground. "You know nothing about loss," he hissed. "You were 6 months old when they died. You don't remember her voice, her laugh, the way she made every room feel like home. You don't remember your brother's smile, his potential, everything he could have been." He dropped her. Victoria gasped for air. "So yes," William continued, straightening his jacket, "I brought them back, however I could. And if that makes me a monster, so be it. At least I'm a monster with a family." Dr. Chen cleared her throat. "Mr. Hartford, the equipment is ready. Should we proceed?" William looked at each of us, me, Vanessa, Victoria, calculating. "Start with Vanessa.
Let's see if we can restore more of her original memories this time. Maybe if she remembers loving me, she'll stop trying to run. Subscribe before you miss how this ends. You need to see this. The doctor moved toward Vanessa's unconscious form. That's when I noticed it. Victoria's restraints, slightly loose. She'd been working them while William monologued. Our eyes met. She gave the smallest nod. One chance. That's all we'd get. William, before you reset me, I need to know. The business card. The one that said I worked for Hartford Industries. Was that real? Of course. You worked in my accounting department for 2 years before the train station incident. Excellent employee. I hated to lose you, but the experiment required a clean break. So everything Victoria said was true. I've been here before, multiple times. 17 times. Though you improve each cycle. This iteration lasted 4 months, your longest yet. And Vanessa, how many times have you reset her?
143. He said it casually, like discussing the weather. She's harder to stabilize. The biological components break down faster. Dr. Chen estimates we have perhaps 20 more cycles before we need to start over with new base material. Vanessa's eyes opened, barely. She'd been awake, listening. The horror on her face said everything. 143 times? She whispered. I've lived and died 143 times? Not died, William corrected. Reset. There's a difference. No, she started thrashing against the restraints. No, no, no! Sedate her, William ordered. Dr. Chen moved with a syringe. Victoria exploded from her chair, restraints snapping free. She tackled the doctor. The syringe skittered across the floor. William spun toward them. I threw my weight sideways. The chair tipped, crashed. The impact jarred my shoulder, but the restraint mounting cracked. Alarms screamed through the house. "Thomas!" William shouted. I wrenched my arm free, scrambled for the syringe, grabbed it. William turned toward me. I lunged, drove the needle into his neck, pushed the plunger. He staggered back, surprised. "What did you—" "Whatever you were going to use on Vanessa." I stood over him. "Let's see how you like being reset." His legs gave out. He collapsed into his chair, eyes unfocusing. "Elliot, you don't understand what you've done." Victoria freed Vanessa. Together they pulled her restraints off. "We need to leave. Now. The security system is automated. We have maybe 3 minutes before it locks down completely." "What about him?" I looked at William, slumped and drooling. "The sedative will keep him out for hours. By then, we'll be gone, and the authorities will be here." She pulled out her phone. "I've had evidence compiled for months. Medical records, financial transactions, the bodies." "Bodies?" 16 men didn't survive the reset process. They're buried in the gardens. I've known for years, but I couldn't prove it without getting myself reset too. I'm sorry I couldn't save them. I'm sorry I couldn't stop him sooner. Vanessa stood on shaking legs. "I don't understand. What am I? What did he make me?" Victoria touched her shoulder gently. "I don't know, but we'll figure it out together, away from here." We ran. Through hallways I'd walked 100 times in 17 different cycles, past portraits of people who didn't exist, out the front door into night air that tasted like freedom. Thomas stood by the Mercedes, saw us running, reached for his phone. "Thomas, don't," Victoria called. "It's over. William's done. You can walk away clean or go down with him." He looked at the house, at us, made his decision. He got in the car and drove away. "Smart man," Victoria muttered. She led us to her own car, a sensible sedan hidden behind the gardens. We piled in. As we drove through the gates, I looked back at Thornfield Estate. Lights blazing, alarms still screaming, a monument to one man's refusal to accept loss.
Where do we go? Vanessa asked from the back seat. Somewhere he can't find us. Somewhere we can start over. Actually start over, not his version. But the police will handle it. I've sent everything to the FBI, to journalists, to everyone who needs to know. By morning, William Hartford will be the most wanted man in America. Subscribe. The aftermath gets even crazier. We drove for hours, stopped at a hotel in Pennsylvania, paid cash, fake names. In the bathroom, I splashed water on my face and looked in the mirror. Same face, but different eyes. How many versions of me had looked in mirrors like this? How many had made it this far? My phone buzzed, the one Victoria had supposedly planted. New message. Unknown number. I opened it. Video file. I pressed play. Grainy footage. The Thornfield study, but different angle than before. William Hartford, sitting in his chair, not slumped, wide awake, smiling directly at the camera. Hello, Elliot. Congratulations on escaping. This is further than most make it. You should be proud. My blood turned to ice. The sedative you injected? Saline. Harmless. Dr. Chen switched it during setup. She always does. No. Victoria's evidence? I wrote every word. The FBI contact she thinks is independent? My lawyer. The journalists? On my payroll. No, no, no. You're still in the game, Elliot. You're just playing a different level. The escape is part of the process. The freedom is part of the illusion. And when you think you finally won, when you think you're finally safe, that's when the real reset begins. The video ended. I stood there, phone shaking in my hand. Ran to the hotel room. Victoria and Vanessa were watching TV. News report about a fire at a private estate upstate. Thornfield burning. No survivors found yet. Did you see? I started. Victoria turned. Her eyes were different. Colder. See what, Elliot? Vanessa stood beside her, expression blank. The video. William. He said... William's dead, Victoria interrupted. The fire. It's all over the news. We won. We're free. But the way she said it, the way Vanessa moved, the way they both looked at me like I was a specimen under glass. Final question. Is Elliot really free? Comment your answer. Maybe you should rest, Victoria suggested. It's been a long day. Tomorrow we'll figure out next steps. Next steps? New identities, new lives, away from all this madness. She smiled. You'll like Portland, I think. Fresh start. New name. Clean slate. Portland. Where the video from the previous Elliot said he'd gone. Where they all go. Before the next cycle starts. I think I'll go for a walk, I said slowly. Alone? At this hour? Vanessa's voice was wrong. Flatter. Robotic. I need air. Of course. Victoria's smile never wavered. We'll be here when you get back. We're a family now. Families don't abandon each other. I backed toward the door. They didn't move, just watched. I ran.
Down the stairs, through the lobby, out into Pennsylvania night. Ran until my lungs screamed, until I couldn't see the hotel behind me. Stopped under a streetlight, pulled out the phone, called the only number I could think of. It rang twice. Elliot. William's voice. Clear. Alive. Amused. Took you longer this time. 47 minutes. Your record is 93. We'll keep trying. Let me go, I begged. I already did. You're standing on a street corner in Pennsylvania. Completely free. Except you can't leave, can you? Because everywhere you run, we're already there. Victoria, Vanessa, Dr. Chen, Thomas, we're all players in the same game, and the game doesn't end just because you figured out the rules. What do you want from me? What I've always wanted. A son who doesn't die, a family that doesn't leave, love that doesn't end. His voice softened. Come back, Elliot. Come home. Stop fighting it. Accept your role. It's so much easier when you stop fighting. Subscribe if you want to know if Elliot ever escapes or if the cycle ever ends. I hung up, looked at the street. 2 directions, both impossible. Behind me, the hotel where Victoria and Vanessa waited with whatever they'd become. Ahead, darkness and the promise of freedom that might be another layer of the game. I chose ahead. Started walking. Somewhere behind me, I heard a car engine. Getting closer. Black Mercedes, of course. Thomas at the wheel. The passenger window rolled down. William sat there, those dark glasses reflecting my own terrified face. Last chance, he called. Get in the car, come home, accept the reset, or keep running and see how far you make it before we start over anyway. Comment. Should Elliot get in the car or keep running? What's the right move? I stood there, caught between 2 nightmares. Then I made my choice. I ran. Not away from the car, toward it. Grabbed the door handle, yanked it open, pulled William out onto the pavement. Tell me how to end it, I screamed in his face. Tell me how to make it stop. He smiled, blood on his teeth, from where his head hit the ground. You can't, he whispered. Because it never started. You were dead the moment Vanessa left that platform. Everything since then has been the dying dream of a broken man. I'm not real. She's not real. None of this is real. You've been in a coma for 6 months, and somewhere in a hospital in Syracuse, your body is deciding whether to wake up or let go. You're lying. Am I? How would you know? How would anyone know? Maybe I'm a hallucination. Maybe you're a hallucination. Maybe we're all just stories someone tells themselves to avoid facing the truth. He stood up, straightening his jacket despite the blood. So here's the real question, Elliot. Do you want to wake up? Back to a world where Vanessa left you, where you're alone, where everything hurts? Or do you want to stay here, in the dream, playing the game, being my son, having a purpose, even if it's artificial? Final comment. Wake up to painful reality or stay in the comfortable nightmare? You decide. I looked at him, at Thomas in the car, at the empty Pennsylvania street, at my hands, shaking and maybe not even real. I want. The Saratoga Springs train platform smelled like burnt rubber and regret. My wife Vanessa stood 5 feet away, her phone screen glowing between us like a knife. Can't wait to see it tonight, baby. Trevor misses you. Trevor? Her personal trainer, the one she'd been seeing 3 times a week for 4 months. Who's Trevor? My voice cracked. She didn't flinch, didn't apologize. She smiled. And I thought, I've seen this smile before. I thought, this has happened before. I thought, how many times have I stood on this platform? But the thought slipped away like water through fingers. She snatched my wallet, threw my ID on the tracks, boarded the train, left me standing there alone.
And 20 minutes later, an old man on a bench called out to me. "You planning to walk all the way to Syracuse, son?" I turned slowly. He wore dark glasses, held a white cane. "My name is William Hartford, and I think I can help you." I stared at him. Deep in my mind, something screamed, but I couldn't remember why. "Yes," I heard myself say. "I'd appreciate the help." He smiled. And somewhere in a hospital room 600 miles away, a heart monitor flatlined. A doctor called time of death, and a family mourned a man who couldn't let go. Comment below. Do you think Elliot is alive, dead, trapped, or something else entirely? What's your interpretation of the ending? If you made it to the end of this story, you're part of something special. Subscribe and tell me, did this story break your brain? What would you have done differently? Let's discuss in the comments.